But they never ask that. The reason they don't ask that is because they don't ask anything. They make it up. They either make it up or they hear it in their heads. I don't trust spiritualists or psychics, or that isn't to say that some human beings can't have particular capacities. I think that's entirely possible, that there are untapped or unrecognised capacities in the human mind. I think that is entirely possible. Maybe there are human beings who are particularly sensitive to particular phenomena. That's entirely possible as well. Maybe there are human beings that have heightened intuitive capacities. But those like Derek Acora, those who do readings and whatever, who make money off of it, no, I don't trust. And who proclaim who actually proclaim to have quite profound knowledge of, I mean, they use the most ridiculous language, energies. I mean, they don't even know what the term energy means. Obvious, that much is evident. They don't understand what energy means. Energy is defined as the capacity to do work. That is literally it. That is all energy means. It's potential. That's all. It doesn't mean what they seem to think it means, which is sort of, I don't know, a network of ethereal threads and currents and flows and whatnot. It doesn't mean that at all. They don't, and this is another thing. No one psychic or spiritualist seems to be able to get their terms straight. Some people refer to an astral plane. Some people refer to disembodied spirits, some refer to shades, and so on and so forth, and some define spirits and ghosts differently from others. Some talk about a different kind of spiritual plane than others. Some talk in religious terms, in absolutes of good and evil, who talk about demons and angels, and so on and so forth. They can't, none of them can seem to get it straight, and that annoys me. What annoys me about them the most is it's not even that they prey on very fundamental human drives, that they prey upon grief and weakness and the desire to see our loved ones again. It's the fact that they insult our intelligence that annoys me the most. It's the same reason I will not debate with creationists. I just won't. Or people who proclaim that Noah's Ark is a historical event. It's a waste of time trying to debate that with me. You may as well try and debate that Hansel and Gretel is an account of actual fact. It's ludicrous to me in so many ways. You don't even need abstruse knowledge. You just need to look at the claim, look at the story, and there are huge logical problems with it, but that's for another video. The same is true of the claims made by psychics and by spiritualists and whatnot. And it seems to me whenever they're pressed, this is absolutely true of Derek Acora, whenever they're pressed they just get defensive and spiteful and malicious, because they know that they can't justify what it is they're doing. They know they can't justify what they proclaim. So no, I don't have any cotter with spiritualists or psychics or anything to that effect. I'm not interested. Occultists, I've read almost everything I can get my hands on anyway, from the most notable occultists, people like Aleister Crowley and John Dee. I have a number of grimoires and things knocking about this house. They're interesting, you know. It's interesting stuff. I like the symbolism. And I think the ritualistic practice itself is very attractive and has psychological benefits, if not anything else. And this is it's what I like about ritual magic in general. It's psychological benefits, because thus far I don't see any reason to believe that it has any other capacity than that. Which is absolutely fine. I may be wrong. There may come a point when I'm proven wrong. There may be some practitioner out there who actually can demonstrate some kind of power or capacity through whatever it is they do. But thus far I haven't seen anything convincing. I've seen lots of dilly-dallying and lots of very poor excuses. And the purported effects of this magic are, to say the very least, underwhelming. I mean, if I thought for 1 second that there was any genuine power to alter reality via the practice of a particular ritual, to summon demons and to bind angels and whatnot, then I'd be doing it. You know, I would be involved in it heavily. Believe me, I would. But thus far, I haven't come across anything. All I've come across is things that increases my skepticism. You know, the same kind of woolly thinking that you get from creationists and so on, and so people who want to tell you what the mind of God is. And I don't buy that from anyone, quite frankly. If you proclaim to be able to tell me what the mind of God is, what God thinks, or what God is, or what its nature is, then I'm going to politely tell you to go fuck yourself. Because it's knowledge you can't possibly have. And I imagine with the next breath you'll also be telling me that God is imponderable and that it's something that you can't comprehend. Rather, it's something that I can't comprehend, but it's something that you obviously can. Fuck off. The same is true of magic and of occultism and whatnot. If it's there and it's comprehensible, I want to be able to comprehend it. I want to be given the materials in order to study. But thus far, I've found nothing convincing. I found lots of pretty things. I found lots of really fascinating symbolism. That's what I like as well, more than anything. I like the symbolism of occultism and of demonology and of necromancy and so on and so forth. I find the schools very interesting. They're great fodder for my stories, for my fiction. Really good, actually. Anyone who reads, if you ever get to read my fiction, look out for certain recurrent symbols. Anyone who knows their occultism, who knows particular practices and the significance of names and symbols and so on, will get a lot out of my fiction. They'll be able to perceive depths that other people won't. The same is true of people who know mythology, particularly the mythology that feeds into the Judeo-Christianic traditions. Are there other things that are classified as paranormal as well, which I'm interested in? I am really interested in any claim of the paranormal. Cryptozoology, aliens, etc. I'm absolutely fascinated by the claims themselves. I find them really interesting. And some of the stories are great. The same is true of the accounts that people give of ghostly encounters. I think personal ghost stories are the very, very best. I think they're great, and I love to hear them. And yet, even though I don't always believe them, or I don't believe that there's anything objective or anything that's occurring outside of the perceptions or the mind of the storyteller, I find them very fascinating, and I like that little chill that you get from them. I really do enjoy that. But with regards to UFOs and whatnot, this is another thing where it's another area where people are very ready to impose a very particular interpretation. I have a story of my own in this regard. I have had an encounter with something unusual in this regard, or something that I can't explain. But this is the thing, just because I can't explain it doesn't mean that other people with broader knowledge of a particular phenomena could not. That's the thing. Someone else could explain it, could likely explain it instantly, or have context for it. And this is the problem, it's the lack of context, or the willingness to impose a particular context. But anyway, this was about 5 years ago, and I was out in the back garden, and I was called into the living room by my dad, who was looking up out of the window into the sky. Perfectly clear day, there were no clouds or anything to that effect. It was a beautiful summer day. And he asked me to look up at something in the sky, and it was really strange. There was very low, less than a few meters above the roofs of the houses, an orb about that size. It seemed to be about that size, like the size of a football, stock still in the clear sky, and it seemed to be metallic. Its surface was reflective. It wasn't a light. It was metallic and reflective, like an amber colour, reflecting the houses below. And there were smaller orbs zooming around it in this sort of fashion. If you think like electrons zooming around a nucleus, it looked exactly like that, and it's stock still in the sky.